And we are live and we are back on another edition of All In on High School Sports. Kurt Valenti, Jennifer Valenti, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
It's been a long time.
It has. It's been quite a long time.
Just to give you a heads up, I know you're far away, but this mic, just make sure you're a little closer to the mic.
Okay.
Okay.
Want to move your water from the front of the
We are back now. We are back. We're a little, we got a lot going on, Jen. So I start tagging, please. I want you to go on what's going on, explain the new deal, what's our breaking news for 9 o'clock tonight, and away we go.
So, as you said, we haven't been live in quite some time. We did a sparse amount of spring shows, I have to say, and then we took our summer hiatus because high school sports aren't happening. So we are officially back, and we're starting tonight with our regular Tuesday 8 o'clock All In, where we're going to talk some high school football. However, new to the slate this fall is a NJIC football conference specific show at 9 o'clock. So, I got to tell you, I hope if you're watching now, I hope you tune in at 9 as well, because we will be breaking down every team in the NJEC. I'm calling it NJEC. I don't know if they refer to it as that, but the NJIC conference, the 4 divisions this year. We had the privilege of catching up with so many coaches. Actually, it was really fun to get to, we know a lot of them from our previous all-in shows, but it was really nice to do a much more in-depth look at their teams and do a preview that they deserve for the preseason. So we have Mark Sinclair, the athletic director from Woodridge, starting off the show at 9 o'clock when we do our NJIC show. We have several coaches that we visited them at their practices, others that joined us. We did some recordings. We'll have a couple coaches joining us live. We heard from some players. We're hoping to provide you an in-depth analysis of the NJIC for the upcoming season. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, listen, it's exciting for that. It's it's a great conference. The other thing is we've become very good friends with a lot of the coaches. It's a lot of growing up. It's a lot of teams I either played for Garfield, played against, and Little League All-Stars and any kind of sports. Coached at St. Mary's, coached in Lyndhurst. So it's exciting. And but you know what? Hey, we got to cover everybody. We got a show to do right now. We got a lot of big football news on All In on High School Sports. Week 0, Jen. It starts, what is it, 48 hours from tonight?
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Well, it'll be underway by this time Thursday, yeah, and with some games already having concluded. So we have our first check-in of 2024. Would you like the honor of reading it, our first comment?
It is my great friend, my co-host, and our number 3 picker of our competition, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Jen and Kurt, welcome back. Honored to be part of season 5. I'm all in. Well, Mr. Kirkpatrick, I hope you're with us at 9 too, because let's go. All right, Hoopsie, what do you got?
Well, you know what? We're definitely going to spend the bulk of our time this evening on some picks for Northern Jersey. However, we wanted to cover a couple of, I'm going to use the word hot topics for North Jersey football right now. And I wanted to start with Kurt, the new Ramapo coach, the new hire at Ramapo.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll let you elaborate, because it's actually someone you know well.
Yeah, very, very excited for Coach Nicky Gattuso. Coached him as a player. Unbelievable assistant, big offensive line coach under the one, the only Coach Gibbs. Then he, wandered off to become a head coach at Demorest, and head coaching job opens up at Ramapo. Listen, his alma mater, that's his school, and he gets the position in one of the, what do you want to say, Jen? When that job opens, it's like people flock to that job. Right. High school coaches, college coaches, everybody. And listen, it's one of, if not the best jobs in North Jersey, in New Jersey. So I'm excited for him, Jen. I'm excited to see what he's going to bring. Not only what he learned, obviously, under the Coach Gibbs, but what, put his little sprinkle in there too, with the Ramapo
You know,
kids.
we always say everything happens for a reason, and he stepped away, and now he's back. So he got that head coaching experience elsewhere, and I feel like that was kind of maybe meant to be his path for that.
Yeah.
To come back to Ramapo, not have to step into that role as a first-time head coach, but now he comes back. So lots of luck to him at Ramapo.
I'm sorry,
Go
Jen.
ahead. No,
There's
go
my
ahead.
good friend, our good friend, Jay Cook. What's up, Kurt? Hi, Hoops. Hope all is well.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Jay. Absolutely. We're
watching,
doing
Jay,
double
and
duty
checking in.
tonight, Jay. Doing our show all in on high school sports, and then we're doing a new NJIC high school sports show. So I hope you check that out. And you know what, Jen? I think it's good because I think it's a guy. I'm saying a guy. I remember we coached this kid, but it's a guy that knows the expectations there. Okay, he knows what people want, what people expect, and I think he's going to do a tremendous job there. I really do. And again, I'm excited because I think you're still going to see some of the stuff that Coach Gibbs ran, and a little of now what he wants to sprinkle in. So hey, the band's getting back together. A lot of assistants underneath there.
Speaking of the band back
There's the
together,
band.
look at that timing. Go ahead, read that comment.
There's from the one, the only Coach Joe Breslin. Hey, Jenny and Kurt, glad to have you back. Absolutely, Coach Breslin. I know we'll say it a lot tonight, but double duty, NJIC. We're doing all in on NJIC. So debuts at 9, so check that out with us. But Coach,
so if you're watching and you feel like we've left out the NJIC, that's not the case. We're giving them their own platform.
Right, we're giving them their own platform at 9.
Yeah.
Mr. Calderio, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Valenti. How are things? What's up, Mark?
Hello, Mark. Thanks for watching.
So, Coach, we were just talking about Nicky Gattuso getting the job at Ramapo, going back there, and I just think he's going to do a tremendous job. Again, I know I mentioned it, but real quick, what's your thoughts with the expectation thing?
Which part of the expectations? How
That I
there's
think-
high expectations?
That I think he's going to he knows that it's not like he's not walking in there like, whoa, what is this?
Right. Well, like you said, he was a player in that program. He coached in that program. So that's where it's so important sometimes for someone who has been a part of that program to take over at the helm, because they know what it means to be part of that program.
There's our good friend David Burns watching from Cedar Hills, Texas. David, we've done a bunch of. We have not done a team from Texas.
We haven't. I think we've tried.
But we got to get a team because Texas, that's football.
Hotbed.
There's football there, so we know that.
We have covered teams from other states. We love to do it. So, David, if you know a team or have any connections with any high school sports teams there, it doesn't have to be just football, but it is a football, haven down there. So please let us know. We'd love to get some Texas coverage on our show.
Comment from good friend Stephen Lyons. Finally, a show when I'm not doing karaoke. And Steve, we didn't forget you. We've just been so busy, but we are definitely doing a karaoke show in this house. You know what? Hey, we're social committee now. We might be doing a complex.
That's true.
Steve, we got to talk ASAP soon. Coach Breslin, there are always high expectations, and he is looking forward to it. That's big.
That's a great attitude to have. Exactly, to want that. Well, moving on to not a new coach, but a returning coach at St. Joe's, Augie Hoffman.
Yes, state championship head coach Augie Hoffman. St. Joe's obviously one of the premier best school. We're talking now, the non-public with this, but I believe, I'm not sure if they're first. I know they're top 3 in the state of state championships. I think Hamilton, St. Joe's of Hamilton, talk about that, but they might be there.
We know firsthand.
Yeah, we know firsthand. But I think St. Joe's is up there, and went away, did the college thing, came back, and I think we're going to see a different approach to this. No, listen, St. Joe's is good every year. Let's be realistic. I mean, they were unbelievably talented. The past couple of years, last year, played great games. More of an offensive team the past couple of years. But Augie's back, and I think we're going to see more of a physical St. Joe's team, Jen. So, what's your thoughts on a coach coming back to where he was? Not only coming back to where he was winning state championships.
I mean, why not? And I
again, He's not going to be, oh my God, look at these expectations.
Right, right. I mean,
He's lived it.
it's not like he left to pursue something else, and now I think there's, you have success. There's a familiarity. I think, if it's agreeable on both sides, why not? Yeah, definitely.
And, when you get to, the one thing I think where that has, let's just get the comment. Dr. John Taylor.
Dr. John.
That's it. You guys are back on. This project I was working on isn't getting on tonight. Well, Dr. John, we're on at 8:00
and 9 tonight.
and 9:00, debuting a new NJIC show. So your project's not going to start till at least 10:00. But I think, I think the thing, obviously, the team to beat, we'll get to them in a second, is Bergen Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what Bergen Catholic has proven the last couple of years, especially later on in the season when it gets to the postseason, is they have been the most physical team. And I will say this, St. Joe's is going to be right there, because that's who Coach Hoffman is. He is a physical. He's going to run the ball. He's going to play defense. Now, I'm not going to say he's not going to throw it, because he's still going to throw it. He's got the athletes there to throw it. But he is going to come, hey, with that, put that hat on and say, let's go. We're going to be physical. This is how, and you know what he's going to show those kids? This is how we have won. We have won like this. So you, as a coach, let me ask you something. As a player, let's go to a player. If you played for a coach, and even if you're saying, all right, I'm just going to throw it, I'm just going to throw basketball. You're a basketball player, but you've been in a system where, like you're more running gun. You're okay. Hey, we're going to try to outscore you and stuff like that. Now you get brought back and a head coach who has won a state championship at your school, but he did it the other way, where it's more of a defensive team, hard-nosed team. Do you look at it and be like, I mean, this guy knows what he's talking about because he won it. Like, how does that help you as a player?
Well, I can't look at it, this question with what I know now, right? I have to look at it as a high school player, because you're saying as a high school athlete.
Right.
So I think that I would welcome, and trust that type of coach personally. And that coach is working hard and makes me want to be, a better player, make our team better. I'm going to work hard for that coach. So, yeah. And how about you?
Yeah. I mean, how can you not? It's, we talk about, pro sports, right? We talk about pro sports and we say, listen, I'm a diehard Bronco fan, right? And they say, Sean Payton's going to do it his way. Did he win? Does he have the resume to say,
right.
Look what I did? Yeah. I mean, he did do it.
Course,
when you get those coaches that have that on their resume, I mean, how do you not listen to them? So
in the high school arena, you're also dealing with coaches who have, I know Sean Payton won a Super Bowl, but you're dealing with the consistency sometimes in high school. Has a lot more longevity in terms of success. But we got some good comments. I don't want to.
Jay is saying yes. So Jay saying that if he would, as a player, it would affect him. Steven saying Augie is a great coach, but he didn't coach with the active transfer portal like it is today. So the question is, how does he adjust to that? Great question, Jen.
It is a different landscape, right, in coaching, definitely, especially with some of those changes. So that only time will tell, but that's a great point.
Great point. Dr. John, really curious to see how non-Group A is going to play out with traditional teams like Paramus Catholic and Pope John going down to non-Group B. I just want to get back to this. Dr. John is saying, I think non-public B is really going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. Yeah, the reclassifications did come out today, so there are some changes. I wonder, DePaul's going to have a little say in that one, right? Red Bank Catholic's going to have a little say in that one with the B. But very interesting.
It's interesting because on our week 0 games, I believe, it's actually Paramus Catholic. Paramus Catholic was one of those teams last year that I feel like, I'll say personally, I kept like going against, but they kind of like rose, like their game rose, and they were in a lot more close games. And so I think that drop is going to be,
Yep.
It'll be very interesting to say for sure.
Jen, I got to
For
go on
sure.
from Kenny. Jen and Kurt, a question for both. Is this the year the Southern non-public schools get closer to the Bergen Catholics, the St. Joe's, the Don Boscos, the Del Bartons, or is it still going to be dominated by the North, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, we had Red Bank Catholic was the winner in non-public B, right? So even though it might be more North dominant, I mean, they do have the non-public B crown, right? So
I think he meant more of the A's, like
Okay.
yeah. I think he means more of the A's. I'm still going to say North. Until I see it.
Well, you kind of stole my cliche there, right? Like even with Bergen Catholic, until someone beats them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
So-
until it's not, Bergen Joe's, Bergen Bosco, Bergen, Del Barton came on the scene last year. So, I'm still going to say North.
not came on the scene, but like took that
next
step,
level.
right?
Yeah.
And
Listen, they had a chance to win that state championship
right.
game.
And so that's, I think, maybe a better question is, are all of the teams maybe closing the gap? A little bit. So because I feel like it was, but again, not to discount Bergen, but I feel like it's always been like that, Bergen and then even St. Joe's, right?
Yeah.
And then kind of like the next tier, but that gap is closing.
But Jen, Steven made a great
the
point.
Transfer rules have anything to do with
Well, you know
it.
what, Steve? I mean, he made such a great, it's so different now.
Yeah.
Like we sit here and we say, we watch college football and it's like, who's on this team? Who's on that team? That's high school football now.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's just besides between that, now you get these young, the 8th graders going in and listen, it's crazy. Dr. John, I don't think so. Kenny, Hoops, RBCs, if you look at their roster, they get kids from up north that commute in.
Wow.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a
But
good.
You know what? That's really interesting because Red Bank, even though, the way the non-public is, right? Like in the public schools, we have North, Central, South, right? So, but then we just have non-public. So Red Bank isn't really such a terrible commute maybe for some northern kids, right? So very interesting.
And then I want to get one that's off script. Let's get into DePaul, right? Because DePaul last year was one of the most interesting teams. Again, we know the team who they're playing. They're playing the Bergens, they're playing the Boscos, they're playing the Joes. Listen, they beat some of those teams, they lose some of those teams, but in like close fashion. Like we always sit here and we're like, hey, DePaul's 5-4 and they're going to a sectional and they're going to a state final in parochial B, right? A lot of teams back, quarterback back, Nolan James back, wide receivers back. I mean, you're talking about a trio of stars. I mean, that team is loaded. Coach Campanelli there does a great job. That team is just, I mean, how could you not say they're maybe, when I want to use the word most tested, going into the postseason of playing up competition.
Right,
I'm not saying anybody in B is down. I'm not saying they're good teams, but you're playing teams that are top 5 in the state. And now you go to your postseason. What's your thoughts on DePaul this year?
Well, but again, what's so difficult, and I'm going to refer to Dr. John's comment right here, because this is exactly where I'm going, is that like, you don't know, these teams don't, yes, they lose, they just reload, so as DePaul might have a lot of returners, but who knows who's coming where and who now is transferring where. And I'm going to let you read Dr. John's comment, which attests to that.
Yeah, Dr. John Lamar Best, a junior quarterback from Willingboro, threw for almost 3,000 yards as a sophomore now at St. Joe's. Yeah, listen, that's hey, this is the world we live in, and I'm going to be honest. It's how it's going to be, right? It's not going to change, right? It's not. How is it going to change? And you know what? If players, if they're saying that's what you can do, listen, schools are going to sell themselves. You want to play for a top 5? You want to play for a top 5 team in the state of New Jersey and you need a quarterback? Hey. That the door's open, you're going to do it.
And to Kenny's comment there, that's why, and we just watched a bunch of, a limited number of college football games, right? Last weekend, college football season opened up. What was it? Four games, right?
Yes.
On, and during their pregame saying that during the, college game day saying, that's the problem with preseason rankings is you just don't know.
No.
And
the
so
guy
it's so
and
hard.
he
Yeah.
flat out said it. One of the guys just said, I hate preseason rankings because of Florida State.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not only you're in a close game, you lose the game.
Right.
So Kenny's asking, is it true they're ranked number 2 in the state? I believe he's asking about St. Joe's. I'm not 100% sure, but if it is, or if he's asking about DePaul.
I thought he meant DePaul because I think it might have just auto corrected him there. So I thought
DePaul,
he meant DePaul.
in polls there are definitely a top 10, but there's some polls where they're like a top 5 team in the state.
So, whatchamacallit, why don't we, we were kind of talking about our next topic was, and we just want to remind people, we might have some people tuning in because we have been promoting our NJIC show.
Yes.
That will be our NJIC specific show. It will start at 9 p.m. So, whatchamacallit, with all of this talk, that was kind of another good segue. Do you think Bergen Catholic can do the three-peat?
Yes, I do. Again, we talk about the trio, right? The threesome of quarterback, running back, the wide receiver. Listen, the receiver, Quincy Porter's back. Obviously, Dominic Campanelli's back. Running back, they're going a little younger, but this kid, Kane, if you see him, this kid is a beast, man. I mean, you're gonna start seeing this kid and getting offers. He's getting offers and stuff like that. But this kid is a big physical back who's like athletic. I mean, he can you can throw him the ball. He make you miss in space and run over you. And we showed, Jen, we talked about, we saw last year how physical Bergen Catholic is.
Yeah.
Like in the past, it was always, they're going to like throw it all over the yard, but they're not going to be physical. That is not the case. Right. That is not what Coach Vito Campanelli has done there. Coach Campanelli, late in that season, he has relied on his run game and his defense. And you know what? Hey, back-to-back state championships.
I give him so much credit for changing what he felt needed to be changed. A lot of coaches get too stuck in their, I'll use a term of yours, quote unquote, system to and they're just going to stick with it. And they're, and he saw that and changed it. I give him a lot of credit.
And what? I give a lot of credit to those kids too, right? Because those kids that are going there, all right. And I'm not going to say they don't throw it because they do throw it. Obviously. I mean, Coach Campanelli is one of the best quarterbacks North Jersey has ever seen. And his son committed already to school, and he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in New Jersey. But, they could have looked too, and they could have been like, we want to throw it 50 times for stats and stuff like that. But those kids committed and bought into, hey, there's going to be some games where, we're going to have to win 20-17.
Right. Right.
What I'm saying? Getting that. And you know what? I might have to block, and I might catch 4 balls today, and I might be blocking as an all-state receiver. And you know what? And we might be going into 2 tight end sets and only 1 receiver instead of 3 star receivers. 2 of them are standing on the sideline in those sets. But you know what? If that's what has to be done to win the game, they do it. So absolutely, they could do it. Jen, I think, how could you not say they're not the favorites to do it? I think they are the favorites to do it.
I think it all goes back to, again, until similar to Georgia in college football, right? Until someone knocks them off, you kind of got to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've proven that they can. We talked about Ramapo at the top of the show, and I want to, our last topic before we get into picks for tonight, I want to just talk a little bit about Northern Highlands. I say Ramapo because they have had some of the best high school
every year.
It's been insane. And Northern Highlands fell to them in the sectional final this year, and another classic contest. So, but they have a ton of returners. So I just wanted you to, talk about that a little bit.
You don't want to say they're returning everybody, but they're returning almost everybody. And again, good friend of mine, Coach Cordy, came on. I used to work with him. He has done a tremendous job at Northern Highlands. Northern Highlands was a good job for him to get, but I think he's taken it to another level. I really has. And I really think he has. And, I want to give a shout out to one of my good friends, Christian Raymond, Dr. Christian Raymond, his son now a junior on that team. So I want to give him a shout out to that. But listen, that team is in the weight room. That team is physical. They have all the skill in the world. They have an all-world quarterback coming back now for his 3rd season. They're going to be a problem for a lot of teams. I know a lot of people have them ranked as the public school #1 team, and you know what? They deserve that. They really do. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, again, it's not going to be a cupcake schedule. They're going to play very hard teams. I know Coach Cord says like his goal, right, is listen, you want to win every game, and you know, obviously you want to be undefeated, win a state championship. That's your ultimate goal. But I mean, you know, you really want to make sure you're playing your best football going into the
Right,
playoffs,
at
into
the
that
right
state
time.
tournament. And you know
Yeah.
what? He kind of says that, like, you know, listen, again, he wants to win every game, but he wants to play tough competition and tough games. So when he
Right.
gets to those state tournaments,
They've seen it.
they're ready to
Yeah.
go. So yeah, Jen, they are going to be there. She is. Tracy Ann is back.
Tracy, I miss you. I hope you are well. Thanks for watching and good luck. Tracy is a West Essex parent of a student athlete who's a 3-sport athlete. Her daughter Ashley, soccer, basketball, and softball. Stud softball catcher, plays year round, and she is the starting goalie for the West Essex soccer team. So good luck, Tracy. Good to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and good luck to Ashley in all her seasons this year, but specifically soccer right now.
Dr. John saying, I think where Vito brings value that a lot of people don't bring up is keeping the backups. A lot of players were going there, good players, but they were backups. Everyone there is good. He's been able to hold on to many of his players and gets them to buy into their role instead of transferring. He doesn't keep them all, but he keeps a lot. That's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great point, Dr. John. And again, you got to give him props to do that. But getting back to Northern Highlands, Jen, I think they are the favorites. Again, it's going to be them and Ramapo at some point, right? They're going to see each other at some point. And listen, you're just looking forward to it. But Coach Cord has done a tremendous job there. Their quarterback is all world. You got to check him out. He's a dual threat runner, thrower, and hey, listen, they're going to be there, Jen. They're going to be there.
Why don't we get into our week 0 picks? We have 15 games. Again, for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with our platform, we pick games each week. It is Kurt picks, I pick, and Kurt's counterpart on his K&K Sports Show, Kenny from Maryland, weighs in as well. So we have a little competition. We are, this is our 8 o'clock show, so don't think the NJIC schools are missing.
No.
We have every NJIC week 0 game in our at 9 o'clock. We're doing back-to-back shows tonight. So at 9 o'clock, the 9 o'clock hour, we will come back on with all things NJIC football. So, all right. Are we ready to start our first game here?
Let's get right to it, Jen.
Okay.
Let's get right to the big game.
Okay. So the first one is IMG Academy at Bergen Catholic. So Kenny is picking Bergen Catholic by a score of 35-32. IMG, right? Not OMG, IMG was ranked 6th in the nation and was upset by
35-34
by Corner Canyon, I believe it was.
35.
Who then jumped up to number, I'm sorry, IMG was number
3,
number 2 or 3,
yes.
Right? And then they were upset. So it's hard to think that IMG is going to lose 2 games in a row. But you know what? What did I say earlier? I'm not going to go against Bergen Catholic until they show me that I should go against them. So I'm going Bergen Catholic.
And you know what? Listen, this has been a long, I don't want to say it's 365 days because it probably isn't to the day, but it's damn close of what happened with them last year. So I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say that Coach Campanelli. Now, again, this game is at Ocean City. It's in the, what are they calling it? The,
I'm not sure.
Battle at the Beach or whatever. I forgot what the word is, but at Ocean City. So they're making the trip down. IMG. I am going to take Bergen Catholic in a very close game. Just like you said, Jen.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Do they lose 2 in a row? Or does Bergen Catholic lose 2 in a row, 2 years in a row to a team?
Right.
So
yeah.
one of them's got to break.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Bergen Catholic. I think that whole year to prepare, Battle at the Beach. I'm gonna go Bergen Catholic. I think it's gonna be a tremendous game. It's gonna be live stream. It's gonna be on TV. So listen, watch it. IMG's got athletes all over the field, Jen, but Bergen Catholic's got some pretty damn good kids too. So I'm gonna take Bergen Catholic.
All right. Our next game is Riverdale at Nutley. Kenny is picking Riverdale by a score of 27-13. Both teams struggled last year. Both with 3-win seasons. I'm going to give the edge to Riverdale in this one. I'm going Riverdale, even though they're on the road. I'm going to pick Riverdale.
Yeah, talk about if anybody who knows Riverdale. Ask Coach Breslin about Riverdale. He knows that coaching staff. He's had some battles Riverdale, and same thing. 3 wins for Riverdale. That's not the norm over there. So I'm going to take Riverdale in the game. I think they bounce back this year. I really do. I think they bounce back, playoff team, and I think they go off to a nice start, beating Nutley.
Okay.
Coach Breslin saying IMG is not going to be happy after losing. No, IMG is not going to lose 2 in a row.
Oh, I know, Coach. It's going to be a tough one for sure. It's going to be a tough. You don't want to be the next opponent on that schedule, that's for sure. Our next one is Mahwah at Westwood. I forgot to read Kenny's quote. He's coming after the title this year. He's off on Tuesdays, and he's going to be doing his homework. So,
okay,
there's that. So with our little conversation.
There's our good friend Keith Brugman from Montana.
Thanks for checking in, Mr. Brugman. So good. Thanks for watching.
We are back. We're doing 2 shows tonight, Mr. Brugman. So,
all right, we've got Mahwah at Westwood. Kenny is picking picking Westwood by a score of 21-12. Westwood is coming off what I'm going to say is everyone's dream season, right? 13-0, undefeated, Group 2 champions, home opener. I'm picking Westwood as well. Yeah.
You know what, though, Jen? First off, Mahwah's not a team to sleep on. But Westwood lost a couple of assistants. You know what? Coach Surrey, we're going to see him in the 9 o'clock hour, right? We have an interview with him on the NJIC show. So lost a lot of talent, right? An all-world quarterback. But I know, you know what? I want to give a shout out to my friend Coach Coyne, because he'll be watching Godson playing for Westwood,
nice.
And a little quarterback this year too. So I think this is going to be. It's not going to be, the way it ran through last year with Westwood. Mahwah is going to come to play. I think Westwood in a close game.
Okay. Our next matchup is Montville at Sparta. Kenny is picking Montville by a score of 22-13. He says, the return of Jenny Hoops. Let's go. Listen, again, for those of you who may not know, I was a longtime coach at Montville. There's no way I can pick against the Mustangs on opening day. Coach DeBonta, good luck. Have a great season. I'm picking Montville as well.
Yeah, I love Coach DeBonta too, but I got to go against him on this one. I am. I'm going to take Sparta. Listen, again, opening these games, you know what it is about these games too, Jen? It's, and Coach Breslin, I think, could attest to this, is that I think defense has an advantage. It's, listen, you go out on defense, go out, run around, make plays. Now, you have to read your keys and stuff like that, but you know what? Go out, be aggressive. Defense is still defense in week 1, but timing still a little on offense that's off, so I think sometimes when you get the more physical team, maybe the better defensive team, I'm going to take Sparta on this one.
Okay. All right. That's our first difference right there. All right. Next, those were Thursday games, by the way. I forgot to mention that. We're going to move into our Friday slate of games now. Do you know the name of what Egg Harbor Township is hosting some games down there? So this is at Egg Harbor Township High School, but our first one is Cedar Grove versus, I don't know if I'm going to say this correctly, Shalik. I'm not sure how to say it. Maybe if somebody knows the pronunciation, they can do it phonetically for me in the comments there. Kenny is picking Shalik by a score of 24-23. I'm actually going with Cedar Grove. They had a disappointing first round loss to Shabazz in the state tournament last year, but they finished 8-2. Shalik plays in the West Jersey Football League. They're a South Group 1 team. And they did go to the Central Jersey Group 1 finals, but I'm picking Cedar Grove. I'm going with the Northern team. Yeah, me too, Jen. I love Cedar. I love watching Cedar Grove, right? They're so much fun. Remember we had Coach on 2 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I love watching this team, like, offensively. So, they'll have stuff, they'll be very well prepared offensively. They'll have a great game plan in hand. I'm going to take Cedar Grove too. All right, I'm just making my notes here, and I got it backwards on my master sheet here. So you and I have Cedar Grove, and Kenny has Shalick. Okay, alrighty. Our next one in that tournament is Washington Township versus who we just were talking about, Northern Highlands. I forgot. Did you forward it there for me? Thank you. Kenny is picking Washington Township by a score of 31-28. He's saying South over the North. I got to disagree. I'm going to go with Northern Highlands, just with, like we said, all those returners, that tough, it's got to be when you are a returning player and you ended your season with that heartbreak. I just think they're chomping at the bit to get back on the field. So I'm going Northern Highlands.
Yeah, Kenny, I think, is sleeping a little. Kenny looked at the word Washington and he's thinking that's like near him, Washington, D.C. It's not with Washington, D.C. And he's sleeping on Northern Highlands. He wants to adopt some teams, and he's got a good team he's going to adopt. We're going to get to that in a second, but I think I'm telling you, I think Northern Highlands is going to be playing for a state title or a sectional, obviously a sectional title. But this team is so good. When you have a quarterback like this coming back, the kid could run it. He's such a dual threat. He could throw it. Just a little inside information with this Northern Highlands team. It's just they hit the weight room, man. They're all about becoming more physical, and you put now more physical team with their talent. I'm going to take Northern Highlands. A couple comments. Kenny was saying about the logos. We're doing that for a reason. We're gonna switch it up later on. We will make it bigger. Goggerty
let them in on a little secret. It was Kurt's job, and it didn't get done.
Yeah, so we're working on that. Dr. John saying Goggerty. I forgot his name. Coach from Cedar Grove is my guy. Kenny saying, I'm technically from the South, so I have to pick a couple. Jen, Coach Breslin, Kenny likes the underdogs. He likes the Commanders. LOL. Dr. John, by the way, you noticed Shabazz went to Group 2 and Wequake went to Group 3. Both were Group 1 last year. Cedar Grove won't see them in the playoffs. That's big.
They're probably thankful for that. As I said, they lost to Shabazz there. Wow. That's a big to go from Group 1 to Group 3. That's a huge jump. Yep. You're usually like cusp between the two. So interesting. Thank you. Dr. John always has the inside info for us. All right. Our next matchup is Clifton at Ridgewood. Kenny is picking Clifton by a score of 20-14. You know what? They matched up last year early in the season. And Clifton, it was also at Ridgewood, which I was surprised about. And Clifton won a close one by a touchdown. I'm going Ridgewood this year.
Yeah, I am too. I think Clifton's going to be, again, great coach. Thank you there. Great staff. Offensive, defensively, they're going to be well prepared. But I'm going to take Ridgewood. I think Ridgewood's bound for like a bounce back season. Both of them were a little down last year, but quarterback transferring out of Clifton this year. I'm going to take Ridgewood.
Okay, our next game is Lenape at PCTI. Kenny is picking PCTI by a score of 34-19. I believe that was one of his adoptive teams at one point, right? Okay. Yep. That's a good one to adopt, right? They lost in the Group 5 finals to Toms River North, did capture their sectional championship. 13-1 overall last year. I'm picking PCTI.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I mean, they're not going to be, I don't think, as good as they were last year. Obviously, they lost a ton of talent. But again, hey, listen, they're another team. They're just going to reload with talent too. Great coaching staff over there. I'll take PCTI too.
All right. Our next one is, as Dr. John mentioned before, with the realignment of some of the non-publics here, we have Pope John at DePaul. So we have Kenny picking DePaul as a score of 24-10. He's saying DePaul will be ready for a big year. I'm picking DePaul as well. Made it to the non-public B finals with a loss to Red Bank Catholic. They play with that tough competition all year long. I'm picking DePaul on this one.
Yeah, I am too, Jen. And I'm very high on DePaul this year. Again, we talk about Nolan James. If you haven't seen Nolan James, I know Keith was asking about a running game. You got to see this kid, Nolan James. I mean, I just remember him against Bergen Catholic as a sophomore at Don Bosco, and then he transferred to DePaul. And this kid has it all. I mean, a physical back, but breakaway speed. You have a quarterback now that's in his third year, an absolute stud receiver back there. I think DePaul gets off now, and Pope John's a good team, right? Pope John is no
No slouch,
sleepover
yeah.
team. But again, it's just a schedule that DePaul plays. I will take DePaul on this one.
Our next one is West Essex at Old Tappan. Kenny is picking West Essex by a score of 21-20, and he says, "Go Jenny Hoops." For those of you watching, West Essex is my alma mater. So, and I did coach there as well before I, made the switch over to Montville right out of college. I coached at my alma mater. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. You have West Essex, who last year is a sectional champion, loses in the Group 3 finals, 10-4 overall because they got off to a slow start last year, if you remember correctly.
I do.
Old Tappan last year, 9-2. Also, lost in their sectional finals to West Morris, who West Essex eventually beat to get to the group finals. I'm like hemming and hawing on this one, and it kills me, but I'm going to go against West Essex because I'm giving Old Tappan the home field advantage. And I think last year's slow start at West Essex, we talk about peaking at the right time, and that's what good coaching does. So West Essex will come along as the season progresses, but I'm picking Old Tappan.
This is why Keith has to stop hanging out with Kenny. He's saying, "Go Jenny Hoops, West Essex, 35-13." Kenny just is trying to be Mr. I'm nice Kenny Kirkpatrick, trying to kiss your butt and taking West Essex. And you know what?
No,
You're
he's
smart.
not.
You're smart
No,
because
he's
you
not.
know what? Kenny just picked up a loss for the season on the picks. You're smart because you went the right way. I think I'm going to go Old Tappan too. At home, right? At home. You talk about a great, listen, West Essex is very well coached too. No doubt about it. But Old Tappan, give them all summer to be prepared. Team's physical. I'm going to take Old Tappan.
Alrighty, and our next matchup is Palm Beach Christian of Florida at Ramsey. Kenny is picking Ramsey by a score of 27-17. Oh, there
It's
we
official.
have it.
It's official.
The adopted team. If Coach Bear is watching, Coach Bear, let's hear it.
If Coach Bear is watching and Kenny picked you as your team, jump now. Jump now, Coach Bear.
Actually,
No,
it's
I'm
a
joking.
good thing. All of Kenny's
Yeah, they have.
teams have
They
done
they
very
really
well.
have. He's
PCTI,
Del Barton. Yeah,
Barton.
he has.
I feel like we're missing one in
Yeah,
there.
Kenny's been good. Kenny's been good.
So that's a good sign there, Coach Bear, if you're watching. I'm going to pick Ramsey as well. I'm going to go, honestly, I'm going with the Jersey team, and I have confidence in Coach Bear, so I'm going Ramsey.
Yeah, buy stock in Ramsey. They're going to be back this year, big time. All right, a little down last year, but Coach Bear will get this team turned around. I think it's, hey, we're going a little out of state, but at home, to get them ready for their run. And look for this team to make a big run in the division, in the state playoffs. I'm all in on Coach Bear too. I don't do the whole, what does Kenny say? What does he buy? Adopt. Yeah, I'm not buying, but Ramsey's going to. Ramsey was my team a couple years ago. I'm back with Ramsey.
Right.
Woodridge was another one.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Our next one is St. Peter's Prep at Paramus Catholic. Kenny is picking Paramus Catholic by a score of 41-31. He's got a little bit of a shootout run in there. I'm going with Paramus Catholic as well. I said it a little on top of the show how last year I feel like they took a big step. They were hanging with a lot of the teams, and I hate to say, St. Peter's Prep, I feel like took a little step backwards. So I think Paramus Catholic is going to continue that step forward. I'm going with Paramus Catholic.
Jen, they took a major step backwards, right? I mean, 2 years ago, you're playing, your state title hopes and, playing with the big boys. And last year you have a major disappointing season. So obviously I think St. Peter's will bounce back. But a lot of good things at Paramus Catholic. This is a big year now, right? Like this is the year where you really could make that jump. And, do they steal one? Can they catch one of the big boys and beat them? Like you said, they were in a lot of those games, but they didn't wind up winning. Do they start putting wins together? I'm going to take them in this game. I think this is going to be, I think a lot of people might just think Paramus Catholic, that St. Peter's is going to be down. But you know what? I think it's going to be close, but I'm still going to take Paramus Catholic.
Okay. And our next Friday game that ends the Friday slate is Don Bosco at I'm not sure if
Archbishop
Hoban.
Yep.
Hoban, I think
in Ohio.
Kenny is picking Bosco by a score of 28-24. He's setting Don Bosco another scary team this year. I'm going to be honest. I want to go with the Jersey team on this one. I'm going with Don Bosco.
You know what, Jen? I'm going to take Don Bosco too, because a lot of times when it's like, okay, Bosco's got to go on the road, like in the past, they got to go on the road. They're not expected, and then they do Don Bosco things. So I think they're going to do the same thing. Coach Sabella there. I'm going to take Bosco on a tough win on the road, a tough spot. I'm going to take them.
All right, in our Saturday slate of games, we have 2 games left to pick. Is St. Francis of Maryland at St. Joe's of Montvale. Kenny is picking St. Francis of Maryland by a score of 24-22. He's saying that they are a top school in Maryland, and he is in Maryland, so I totally understand that pick. I'm going with St. Joe's, though.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jen. I think this is a statement game for St. Joe's. This is going to show, hey, we're back, and we're back big time. I think they at home against a good team, Coach Hoffman gets right out of the gate and says, this is how we're going to play from now on. I'm taking St. Joe's.
And our last one is Iona Prep of New York at Del Barton. Kenny is picking Del Barton by a score of 34-23. He's saying Del Barton will be state champs this season.
Woo!
He's making that declaration right now. Listen, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. They made a huge step last year. All season long, we saw it. And then they advanced to the non-public A finals, lose to stellar Bergen Catholic team. But, will it continue?
Jen, minutes away from winning a state championship and doing the unthinkable, beating Bergen Catholic last year. So this team is talented, right? Obviously, they're going to lose some of their guys from that team, but I think this program now has said, we're on the map. We're with the big boys, and I'll take them. I'll take them at home on Saturday to get their first win.
And I'm picking them as well. So that's a sweep there for Del Barton. Those of you I see Dr. John saying that wasn't Kurt the kiss of death for Ramsey. Didn't we say that? It might have been last year. We'll see. Hope not.
Yeah.
But thank you for watching this evening. We're going to take a very brief break because
5-minute break.
Because at 9:00 we're coming right back on. We have a ton of information to share about NJIC football. We hope that you can join us. We'll be hearing from athletic director, coaches, players. So
there it is. Now it's official. The show is official.
There it is.
There it is.
Very nice. But thank you for watching, and we will see you shortly for our NJIC conference preview.
Debut. All
It's
in
our premiere
on NJIC